Hello everybody, welcome to Kuchi-e Gallery package open video number 3. Today I'm going to open a couple packages actually, try and get through these so I can start doing some actual videos that I want to do later on about specific artists. And yeah, so this is another package from Japan. This one I believe has a pretty high-end design. This is one of the more expensive designs. People may be wondering, what do I pay for pieces? Prices range depending upon the quality of the piece. If I'm going for something that's incredibly good quality, I could pay $200, $300, $400. The most I've ever paid for a single print was $650, I think. And that was an extremely rare print by Kaburaki Kiyokata. And Kaburaki Kiyokata's prints are all over the place price-wise. You can find some low-level, poor condition ones for about $100, but they do go quite high, and I've seen them go as high as $1,200. So they can go up, but anyway, I think this piece might be Kaburaki Kiyokata, but I'm not sure because I have several packages to open. And as you can see, this one was actually left over a month ago at this point. So in any event, let's get to opening. Excuse me while I pull this out. As I said before, the Japanese typically do a good job with packing. Only when I buy from eBay or even from some lesser known art gallery type situations do I get prints that are poorly packed. But this one is quite well packed. So I'll open it the way I usually do, which is to take off the outer wrapping first. Then I see what I'm dealing with on the sides. In this case, it's just a single one. And the way I do it is I don't cut up the middle because you just don't know if the print is right inside this border. So I tend to cut through the cardboard, giving myself that extra space. So see, I've cut into this cardboard instead of cutting in directly to the one that has the print that I purchased. And the Japanese, like I have previously mentioned, they typically do a very good job with their packing. This piece here is no exception. It's contained within a plastic. It also has another piece of not cardboard, but some kind of backing board, which is, definitely nice because you certainly don't want it to get bent in any way. Sometimes I've made some really stupid unpacking mistakes in my 14 years of collecting. And one time I cut the corner off of a Kuniyoshi Oban, a really beautiful one actually. I think I still have it, shockingly. Or maybe not shockingly, but I was able to reattach the corner. So that's one of the beauties of Japanese woodblock prints, is that you can repair them fairly easily, actually, if you know what you're doing. There's actually a book that I purchased maybe, 15 years ago or 10 years ago. When I first started doing this, I found a book called The Care and Repair of Japanese Woodblock Prints. And while many of the things in the book, many of the steps that are outlined in the book are a little bit outdated, I would say. There are many different types of different types of conservation, and there is a whole art to conservation. But back when this guy was doing his woodblock print collecting, he wasn't, he was doing these things himself. So he was trying them out himself. Some of them were failures, some of them were successful. And they may be considered damaging by today's standards in some instances. So I read the book with a grain of salt, but I have learned a lot about how to make repairs, how to reattach. If a piece comes ripped, then I learn how to reattach it that way, which is nice. It's nice to be able to do that, and it's not very difficult. I'll do an instruction video sometime on how to do it. Okay, this is the print here. As you can see, it's actually a really beautiful design, and yes, it is by Kaburaki Kiyokata. This is one of his very earlier designs. Yeah, this is early. This is going to be 1903, 1904, something like that. 1902 or 1901, I believe, is his earliest designs. This is pretty early. But you can see it's a beautiful, it's a beautiful woman. So it has a beauty, a young beauty is featured, and she is bringing home gifts for the New Year's. These things she's carrying are New Year's gifts. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but this string of flowers sort of arrangement here is one gift, and then this piece in the hand here that she's holding is another type of gift. The thing that makes this print so incredible to my eyes, and probably to many of your eyes, I would imagine as well, is the beautiful coloring. It has really excellent coloring. I'm going to try and hold it differently so we can get a closer look at it. But it has some very, very fine printing, which is not typical of all Kuchi-e. There are a lot of amazing prints in Kuchi-e, but seldom are they done to this level. This is really high quality. As you can see, there's coloring in the hairpin, so the hairpin is beautifully colored. She's wearing this fantastic feather, like boa type design over the top of her kimono, and it's blue, and the gloves are also blue, which is a very like a non-Japanese aesthetic. So these are things that would have been invented or would have been brought over by Western society. So Western importing was happening at this point, and the borders had been openly freely by this point. So a lot of stuff coming in that was from the West, and some Japanese really embraced it. This would be considered a Japanese woman, a Japanese beautiful woman of the time, dressed in a very Western style, especially with this feather boa at the top up here and these gloves. These are very European aesthetics. Still wearing a kimono, and a very nice kimono. Down here at the bottom we have the signature, Kaburaki. It says Kiyokata, but look at that old seal. That is a very interesting old Kiyokata seal, which I have not seen on many other prints, actually. So, but yeah, this is a beautiful design, very well printed. It does have the lines that are typical of Kuchi-e. So when you buy a Kuchi-e, if you're new to Kuchi-e collecting, you will see these lines. They're very common, and they don't cause any sort of depreciation or any sort of a knock in the pricing of Kuchi-e. Most Kuchi-e have them because these were all inserted either in a book or a magazine or a novel. So early literary novels contain these, as well as fashion magazines or women's life, that sort of thing. These were probably geared primarily towards a female audience at the time, but as you can see, the aesthetic is extremely nice, and the collectors were probably men and women both. So you can see the bleed through on this piece is just amazingly nice. Comes right through the washi, and yeah, just beautiful. So this is the print number 1 that I'm doing today, Kaburaki Kiyokata. I will put the print info in the description. It's hard for me to do that on the fly without wasting a lot of time. So I will put that information in the description. And this print, I believe, cost me $250. So worth every penny in my opinion, because it's a fantastic design and it's a very nice example of this design. So two reasons to buy it. I wouldn't buy it if it was in poor condition. I would buy it, if it was in good condition, which it is. So I'm going to open a second package. This one, by the way, I did purchase from Japan. It came from a gallery called Curve Arts. If you're interested in Kuchi-e prints, you can go there, and they routinely have some nice ones. They have some nice pieces, I believe, by Kiyokata again right now, if anyone's interested. This was one of the more expensive ones. They're not always priced at $250, so don't think that. They're definitely, they're priced all over the place. They can be as low as $75, and they can be as high as, probably $400 or $500. Okay, this is another package. So this is a second package. This one came from an American gallery, which some of you may or may not be familiar with, called Fuji Arts. Fuji Arts is a big seller here in the United States. I believe they're the largest Japanese woodblock print seller, certainly in the United States and maybe in the world. They sell thousands of prints annually. And they do have a lot of, I wouldn't call them junk prints necessarily, but they are just low quality, poorly made. Some of them are by anonymous artists, or they're made from, artists, or even, displaying scenes or displaying kabuki that you don't even know what it is because they're not properly documented. A lot of things that are on the more brightly colored side, which some people don't like. I don't happen to like the kind of like harsh red tones. Some people have learned to like them, and the Japanese actually very much so embrace them. There's a nice video by the Mie, or as he calls it, the Cross-Eyed Gallery, on YouTube, and he has a video where he talks about how the Japanese embrace that red color. They saw it as auspicious, I'm sure. It was brought during the aniline dyes, which came around the 68 to 78 period. When these aniline dyes showed up from the West, the Japanese very much so embraced them. Let me open this package. Sorry. By the way, Fuji Arts has a fantastic packing. Their packing is definitely among the best. They have their own specially made packages. As you can see, it's got these extra fins on the side for protection. So both sides, it's very difficult for these to get damaged on the way here, which is really nice. You are paying a bit of a premium with their shipping, but it's worth every penny. So as you look inside here, then you pull it out of the internal. Sorry, this is a little bit challenging. Excuse me. Wow, that is really tight. Okay, so you can pull it out from the interior package. It's not usually quite this tight, but it does form a nice tight seal. So, the chance of it getting damaged is lessened greatly by the extra effort they take in packing their prints. Prints are packed between 2 thick pieces of cardboard. Again, I cut through the cardboard in these rather than cutting through the middle slot because I don't want to damage the print inside in case the print happens to be large enough to go right to the edge, which I have had that happen more than once. As I said, I had a Kunoyoshi piece that I cut the corner right off of because of that. Okay, let's see what I have here. Again, I'm not sure which print this is. I buy from Fuji Arts every once in a while. Oh yes, now I remember. Okay, this is a really excellent print. I think it's beautiful, very difficult to find. I've only seen this print one other time, and there's a museum. I think it's a museum. There's a museum in Australia that has a selection of Kuchi-e, a whole collection of Kuchi-e that was donated by a collector named Clough, I think it is. I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's Clough, I believe. And if you go there, they have a copy of this print. This is the only place I've seen this design, but I really, really like it. It's a really nice design by Utagawa Kunikazu. And it's just a really nice, beautifully, it's a really nice, beautiful design. Sorry, excuse me for a second. I'm trying to make this straight. But yeah, it basically has a Japanese couple, and the couple, it's very interesting. The man is clearly wearing like a Western style hunting outfit, which it's not very like well documented. I haven't seen any other woodblock prints that have this. There probably are some, but I think this is just a really interesting design. So he's clearly holding on to a woman, a beauty. He's got glasses, which is Western. He's dressed like Sherlock Holmes, which is clearly Western. But he's got this bag here, which would be a bag to put your ducks in or your fish or whatever he's hunting. Well, not fish, but ducks or other birds or small game like squirrels or raccoons or rabbits or something. He's got a gun here, which is very interesting. There are not that many woodblock prints that have guns. Guns were outlawed in Japan for quite a long time. For like 200 years, which is why Japan has the samurai. That's why they have a samurai class. That's why everything was done with swords. That's why, swords and combat arts were so important, because they outlawed weapons. And because they did that, them showing up in prints is pretty rare. You do see them sometimes, but they actually look like a type of gun called a blunderbuss, which is basically, it's like a miniature cannon. You put some gunpowder in one end and you pack it full of whatever stuff you want. It could be scraps of wood, it could be metal shavings, it could be little ball bearings, it could be garbage. I mean, you could literally put anything in them. and they'll basically launch whatever it is like a gun. But they're like single shot, almost like single shot, large musket sort of designs. Those are the designs you're far more likely to see in a Japanese woodblock print. This design has a Western style gun, which is really rare, very uncommon. If you're looking at war prints, of course you can see that, but this is not a war print, this is a hunting print. And yeah, so it does have a library stamp or a stamp from a rental bookstore here, which I, of course, would like not to have there. It also has some sort of writing here. It's either on the front or the back, I can't even tell. So it's not in perfect condition, but luckily it's not stamped on the face, it's not stamped anywhere on the body. Because woodblock prints have stamps all over them anyway, sometimes they blend in okay. I don't particularly love this one, so I will probably fix it. And the way that I will do that is I will have a piece of washi, I will put the washi on here, I will put watercolor on it so that it matches this light blue color, and then I will nori paste it down so that it actually covers this up, and it'll still be noticeable. I mean, it's not going to be a perfect fit, but it will be, better than it is now. Less obvious, it'll be covering it up. A lot of conservation, which I don't think people consider, but a lot of conservation is really just about taking your eyes away from whatever damage the piece has. I used to have a large painting by an artist named Barry McGee, who's like a famous street artist in from San Francisco. And he used to do these large paintings on bus stops. And they used to smash them open to get them because they're like, 4 feet by 6 feet or something like that. They're very large. Anyway, the one that I bought, someone had taken like a brick or a rock and they smashed the glass to get it out. And they had torn a large hole into the lettering at the top of this Marlboro print. It was a Marlboro advertisement that he had like taken out and adulterated with his art and then put it back in. Anyway, I had to have it conserved, and it cost me, I think it cost me about $6,000. So, but it looked like new. I mean, it didn't look like new up close, which is kind of what I was saying. It didn't look like brand new when I was finished, but it looked like your eyes didn't go to the big hole. You looked at the piece and you said, wow, look at that great piece of art. And then if you looked up close, you said, oh, look, there was some damage that was repaired here. But that was not the first thing you looked at. And in this case, that's what I would also be trying to do. I'd be trying to cover this up so that when you look at this, your first thing isn't, what is that weird spot over there with the writing and the red thing? Honestly, if it was just a red thing, I would just leave it because there's enough stamps on wood blocks that it wouldn't even be that noticeable or a problem. But in this case, it's got this writing with it. So I just, yeah. Anyway, and it also has this part on the side. This part on the side I would just leave here. It's not enough of an issue that I would do anything about it. I might try and dab it off if I can get it to be removed. I can't tell if it's actually on the surface of this piece or if it's on this side and it like bled through. It has kind of a bleeding looking quality to it, so I don't actually know. Anyway, back to the print. So this print I know nothing about. I couldn't find any real references to it other than the Clough gallery in Australia. If you look up the Clough Kuchi-e, which is Kuchi-E, Kuchi-e. If you look up the Kuchi-e Clough, Clough collection, you can see they have around 400 to 500 Kuchi-e designs, and you can view all of them. It's a little bit of work to figure out exactly how to look at them, but they happen to have this design, which is the thing that made me very much so interested in owning it. I think it's beautiful. It's a nice scene. It's kind of loving and endearing. I don't know if he accidentally shot this woman or if she just fainted because he killed her favorite duck. Like, I don't know what the situation is. It could be something like that. It could go along with the book. Maybe the book is about Sherlock Holmes, or maybe the book is about something about hunting, or, I don't know. But anyway, it is a very nice design. I think that the trees up here are fantastically well rendered. This is a fully rendered design. From one side to the other, art fills the whole thing. You can see, can you actually see? You can see that there's blind printing on the hair right here. Right there, can you see those lines in the hair? That's special printing on top. It's burnishing, it's called, and it's where you take black and you rub it onto a hard surface with these lines in it, and then it gives it like a burnished, shiny look. It just has a lot of very nice woodblock printing quality to it, and it's very well done. So to me, it was worth it. I think I paid around maybe $100 or something like that. Maybe more, but anyway, around $100, and this shipping might have been $120 with shipping. Anyway, I love this piece. It's by Utagawa Kunikazu. The signature is right here. Fantastic. This has very thick paper. I actually can't tell if it's backed or not because it's kind of thick feeling. So I don't know if that was the way it was intended or if it has been backed by very thin backing. It probably has been backed by backing, but I don't mind. Some people hate backing because they like to see the bleed through. I like to see the bleed through too, but it actually reinforces the paper so much and it makes the paper so much more stable in some instances that I don't mind the backing. And those prints that have backing look the freshest, the longest. So anyway, that's what I have. This is a really beautiful design. Utagawa Kunikazu. They usually measure around 8.5 by 11. This one looks pretty standard to me. 8 3/4 by almost a foot. So actually it's a little bit larger than normal. But yeah, really fantastic piece. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more of my videos, which I will be posting quite a few more in the future, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Thanks.